Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning to all. Now we are discussing about the fiscal policy and monetary policy. I just give an introduction about this fiscal and monetary policy. The fiscal and monetary policy are the key pillars of macroeconomic. The macroeconomic means it's a setting board of objective by the government for the economy as whole and the use of policy instrument to achieve those objectives. The objective means the full employment, economic growth, inflation. Just the objectives of macroeconomic, and it's macroeconomic regarding fiscal and monetary policy. Slide. This next slide. Hello. Okay. The fiscal policy means it refers to policy concerning the use of state treasury or the government finance to achieve the macroeconomic goals. The macroeconomic goals means the full employment, economic growth, and the government policy of changing its taxation and public expenditure programs intended to achieve its objective. And the objectives, next slide. The objectives of fiscal policy are capital formation and growth, encouraging investments, uh, optimum allocation of resources, and to achieve economic stability and price stability. The capital formation and growth, the first objective, which means capital assumes a central place in any development activity in a country, and fiscal policy can be adopted as a crucial tool for the promotion of highest possible rate of the capital formation. And encouraging investment, the fiscal policy aims at the acceleration of rate of investment in the public as well as in the private sector of the economy. It invest in the public and also the private sectors. And the optimum allocation of the resource, which means the fiscal measures like taxation and public expenditure programs can greatly affect the allocation of resource in the various occupation and the sectors. And then to achieve economic stability, there is a general agreement that the economic growth and stability are joint objective for underdeveloped countries in a developing country, and the economic instability is manifested in the formation of a form of inflation and also the price stability. Next slide. Adarsh. Then the next one is the instruments of fiscal policy. First one is deficit policy and public expenditure, taxation policy, and public debt. That are the instruments of fiscal policy. First one is a deficit policy. Deficit policy means it refers financing or budgetary deficit, which means a budgetary deficit excess of government expenditure over government income. It means taking loan from a Reserve Bank of India by the government to meet the budgetary deficit. Next one is public expenditure, which means it can be used to stimulate production, income, and employment. The government expenditure form a highly significant part of the total expenditure in the economy. And the taxation policy including.
Anugraha.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Anugraha, you can stop from taxation policy. Purnima, please go ahead.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Purnima, from taxation policy.
Okay, sir. So this is the instruments of fiscal policy. So next is taxation policy. This include the income, capital gain from the investment property or the sales. The taxes provide the income that funds the government. Next is public debt. That is a sound program for the public borrowing and the debt repayment. It is a weapon to fight the inflation and deflation. Moving on. Next slide. Monetary policy. Monetary policy refers to the use of instrument under the control of the RBI to regulate the availability, cost, use of money, and the credit. Monetary policy is defined as the policy employing the central bank's control of the supply of money as an instrument for achieving the objective for the of the general economic policy. So this is monetary policy. It is a policy which is used to regulate the availability, cost, or the use of money, which is controlled by the central bank. Objectives of monetary policy. First is full employment. Full employment means the absence of involuntary unemployment. Therefore, it implies not only the employment of all type of labors, but also which include the employment of all the economic resources. Next is price stability. It is considered as the most genuine objective of the monetary policy because the stable price means there is a public confidence and also there is no cyclic fluctuation. All the cyclic fluctuations are eliminated. Next is economic growth. Economic growth means the process whereby the real per capita income of a country increases over a long period of time. It implies an increase in the total physical or the real output production of goods for the satisfaction of human wants. Then comes the balance of payment. It was felt that increasing of the deficit in the balance of payment reduces the ability of economy to achieve other objectives. Next slide, please. Of monetary policies. First is bank rate. Bank rate is also known as the discount rate. It is the rate at which the RBI lend to the commercial bank or rediscount their bills. So this is an instrument of monetary policy. Next is CRR, that is cash reserve ratio. Cash reserve ratio is a certain percentage of the bank deposit with the which the bank are required to keep with the RBI in the form of some reserve or the balances. So higher the CRR, then the lower will be the liquidity and vice versa. Then statutory liquidity ratio. It means a certain percentage of the deposit is to be kept by the bank in form of liquid cash. This is kept by the bank itself. The liquid assets here include the government security or the treasury bills, then other securities which is notified by the RBI. Then repo rate or the reverse repo rate. That is the rate at which the RBI lend to the commercial bank against some government securities, and the reverse repo rate is the rate at which the RBI borrow money from the commercial banks. Then open market operation. It means that the bank control the flow of credit through the sale and purchase of securities in the open market. So these are some of the instruments of monetary policy: bank rate, CRR, SLR, repo rate, and open market operation. Moving on. Difference between fiscal policy and monetary policy. So the fiscal policy
Purnima,
is changed.
excuse me.
Yes, sir.
Shruti, please follow.
Yes, sir. So difference between fiscal policy and monetary policy. Monetary policy involves changing the interest rate and influencing the money supply. Fiscal policy involves the government changing tax rates and levels of government spending to influence aggregate demand in the economy. Fiscal policy is set by government, and in the case of monetary policy, it is by the central bank. There is no specific target in case of fiscal policy, and there is a target inflation in monetary policy. Monetary policy is usually carried by the central bank or monetary authorities and involves setting base rates and influencing the supply of money. Whereas in the case of fiscal policy, it is carried out by the government and involves changing levels of government spending and levels of taxation. In the case of fiscal policy, there is a strong political dimension to changing tax rates. And monetary policy involves mostly independent from the political process. Then, by concluding, macroeconomic policy is a setting of broad objectives by the government for the economy as a whole and the use of policy instruments to achieve those objectives. And these objectives include full employment, the avoidance of inflation, economic growth, and balance of payments, equilibrium. Fiscal policy and monetary policy are among the main policy instruments used to regulate the economy. Thank you.